breaking down the political landscape. This is KQ Truth for you. Political honesty rooted in God. This is KQ Truth for you.
Good evening. Welcome to KQ. I'm Ken.
I'm Kevlon.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. This is KQ the Truth for you.
Okay, baby, so I feel like you're the one.
Good evening. Welcome to KQ. I'm Ken.
I'm Kevlon. Welcome, everybody. This is another exciting edition of KQ Podcast Show 2024. We are here for you, and we are hoping that you are here for us. Like, share, subscribe, do all those wonderful things. And we will...
Hey, wait a minute. Man, you don't have a special message coming out the gump? This will be the first night.
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And in the gump, you got a whole lot of lovers, but we on low key right now, man. Until tomorrow around this time. Then the wolves gonna be howling.
Well, it is income tax season. Oh, now. Okay, yeah. That's when the sugar mamas come out to play, baby. Yeah. Welcome to KQ. All right.
This big girl is gonna be Big Girl Wednesday.
That right. All right. So tonight we have, I'm not gonna say it's a very exciting episode, but it is minutely informative.
An episode nonetheless.
And an episode nonetheless. Okay, so what we got cracking tonight is okay, it's a whole lot of stuff going on in the news right now. Y'all know just like I know. A whole lot of stuff. And it is getting crazy with all these looming indictments, not to mention elections popping off, and then you got dementia on the line, so to speak, and which ain't even that. It's more just like old people doing what old people do. So needless to say, it's like so many different areas and levels. Then we got wars around the world, and we got funding for the wars, and then we got people that shouldn't be loving Russia and Putin loving Russia and Putin, and Hamas, and boy, all kinds of stuff.
Bless you, my brother.
Did you hear that?
No.
Oh, right.
Hard though.
Okay, that was up. I've tried to mute it. So, with all the stuff going on around the world, basically, we're just going to scrape the surface. We're not going to go too deep tonight because, man, I wish we could do like a 5-hour diatribe movie with clips and videos and helicopters and drones, drones with cameras. And,
One day we will. One day we might.
Yeah, one day we might. But needless to say, your boy.
Yeah. Well, the world is getting crazy. You have the return of Jon Stewart. You had the Super Bowl. You have, like Ken said, looming indictments. You have Supreme Court challenges. You have basically on the other side a booming economy. Everything's running smoothly. Things are getting better for the United States of America in a lot of different ways. Ain't nothing perfect. Ain't nothing ever going to be perfect. But one thing we can count on is if you put somebody who's serious in office that has an agenda for the American people and a team of people around them and a Congress to go with it, you can get a lot of stuff done. Now, instead of taking that as our number one focus right now, what's happening is a whole lot of gaslighting, a whole lot of wool being pulled over the eyes of the American people through controversy, through characterizations, and we're going to touch into a few of those things today. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first little topic that we're going to delve in on, and we're going to bounce around a little bit tonight, y'all, so please excuse us. But speaking of cases, this one was peculiar to us because this was literally a former president of the United States, that the first one to ever get charged, Benedict Donald, the orange buffoon. He's charged with multiple felony counts. He has like something like 91 of them. And for this particular one, which one was this, Ken? Was this the one where, oh, this was the one where he tried to overthrow the United States government, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Qualified immunity from being over, like that was part of his presidential duties.
No, and not only that, no matter how criminal it was, and no matter how criminal anything that he did was, his argument was that he should be immune. He should just be allowed to do it. Because as president, you can't have presidents unless they're allowed to break the law and not face the criminal justice system later on. So
Right.
despite the fact that Bill Clinton, there had to be a charging decision on whether to charge him with perjury or not after he was out of office. There was also a charging decision about Richard. Well, there wasn't a charging decision about Richard Nixon. Basically, the Justice Department worked out a deal with him. Say, if you go ahead and resign, then we're not going to prosecute you. And then he got pardoned by the succeeding president. But obviously, if the pardon was in play for Nixon and a prosecution was in play for Bill Clinton, Trump is not immune. But his tactic, of course, is delay. He wants to just slow everything down. He never wants to face the bar of justice, even though he was charged with not insurrection, but he was charged with defrauding the American population, and he's charged with basically attempting to overthrow the election, in some ways a coup. Multiple schemes throughout all of the administration, through the Justice Department, the Homeland Security Department, and just multiple different departments under the executive branch. He tried to get them to basically overthrow the election, all the way down to where he was calling up people in Georgia and Arizona and getting on the phone with the secretaries of state and twisting their arms and this and that. So all of that stuff is illegal activity. So instead of going in front of the court and saying, hey, I'm innocent, you can try me all you want, I'm not going to be found guilty for this. What his argument is, ignore what I did and declare that I'm immune. What kind of sense does that make if we're going to treat any public official as if they're above the law and immune from prosecution? But this is exactly what this president is doing. Now, I want you to think about this. Any president that will say, I'm immune from prosecution for something that I did while I was president, what is it that's going to keep this person from committing crimes?
Nothing. And on top of that, what should compel Dark Brandon to not commit crimes?
Exactly.
I mean, the same crimes that the Supreme Court asked Trump's lawyers about. You know, could you get SEAL Team 6 to go in and murder your political opponents and be just fine? And they were like, well, I mean, you know, if he hadn't been impeached, I mean,
who gets impeached and removed?
Yeah, if he hadn't been impeached and removed, then, you know, it shouldn't be a problem until we get to that point. But at that point, we're not at that point. And so, you know, I mean, and then, of course, at that point, if it's a smart president that knows that he'll have immunity as long as he ain't impeached, and you send SEAL Team 6 to kill one of your political opponents, well, what's to stop you from sending SEAL Team 6 to take out a few senators and congressmen so that you can't be impeached?
And removed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then, boom.
It's
so, you know, they basically proved his point to his lawyer, and the lawyer had to somewhat concede at that point and say, you know, this whole argument is probably ridiculous.
Well, he basically said that it was a qualified yes, that the president should be immune as long as basically what the qualified yes is, yes, he can be charged, but only if he was impeached and removed first. Like you said, what happens if you shoot the senators? I mean, so it's an asinine.
what if you go to action 2 days before the inauguration?
Yeah, and
You
you're out
ain't
of
time
office.
to impeach nobody in 2 days.
Can't charge him now.
Yeah,
Look,
now it's over. Now he's
arrogance,
immune.
just the raw arrogance to
Yeah,
have
totally
the
immune at that
nerve,
point.
just
Yeah,
the nerve to come in front of the American people and expect them to vote for you with such a stupid, idiotic position that you should be immune from prosecution, even if you stoop to the level of assassinating your political opponents. The nerve of somebody to ask for your vote after presenting that as a feasible request. Make me immune. Put me back in office. Make me immune. He should not have any intentions to want to be immune because he should not have any intentions to break the law.
right.
It's just that simple. But he does.
Yeah.
And he's saying it out loud. Now,
Saying it out loud.
we talked a whole lot about age. We've talked about this age thing over and over and over and over. Both of them old, but only one of them is willing to break the law. Only one of them wants to break the law with impunity and immunity. That's the difference, folks. It's not that we're trying to act like Dark Brandon, Joe Brandon. Dark Brandon is the best thing since sliced bread.
Dark Biden.
Yes. He might not be the sharpest tack in the drawer, but one thing he is he's effective. He literally loves this country, and he does things to help middle and lower class Americans first. That part really is undisputable. We can go back through our videos, watch them all. We've already gone through all of the policies. The second little question I'd have is, he may be old, but name a policy that because of his age he botched or he put out here that hurt Americans because of his age. Name it. Tell me what it is. Put it in the comments.
Regardless of the age, just name a policy that he put out that don't help regular Americans.
Yeah.
Anyone that he's fought for, anyone that he stood up for. Now you got Republicans and MAGAs and Afro MAGAs on this whole kick. Now all of a sudden, now they're like the border. I mean, why won't Joe come out and stop these people from going through the border? Why does he want so many people to come through the border? And I'm like, Joe doesn't want people to come through the border. Pretty much the very beginning of his administration in 2020, he dropped a whole plan to slow down immigration. Now, it was not anywhere near as conservative, so they say, as the plan that Mike Johnson and them were just on the verge, on the cusp of pushing through, that would have literally curbed a whole lot of people from coming through the border. And it would have made it well known that this ain't the route that you want to go. Once it hit 5,000 people, they would have cut it completely off. It was going to spend a whole lot more money to stop fentanyl coming through, for high-tech equipment to do that.
More beds, more judges.
Yeah, more judges, more prosecutors, more lawyers, everything to help facilitate the whole rigmarole of the legislative process. Yeah, like the whole legislative process would go from taking years. It would have stripped it all the way back down to 6 months maximum. 6 months is all you got to get this person from coming through the border, claiming asylum, to saying, yeah, you can stay, or no, you got to go, and getting them out of here if they got to go, or allow them to stay if they get to stay. So it was money for all of these programs and all of this money and high tech and all this stuff at the border. Well, Donald Trump came out and said out of nowhere, hey, look, it's my border, and that's my problem that we're going to have to talk about. Look,
run on.
Said, listen, guys, we can't run on abortion anymore. That's dead.
We can't run on the economy.
Dobbs killed it. The economy, we might not be able to talk about the economy because the economy is actually doing pretty well right now. I've been telling people that it's because of me and my policies and because I'm running for office that the stock market is doing so great. So, and they're not buying it. So the only thing that they're going to be able to buy is our border policies. But we can't have those border policies if y'all solve the border crisis. So stop, cease, desist. Do not solve this problem. Save it. I'll get it fixed when I come back in office if I can avoid prison. And I don't know what he said, but either way, the conversation went something like that. Not to mention,
I mean, it was the Republicans' policy. The Republican senator from Oklahoma helped write it. It was a bipartisan bill. It was bipartisan in a way. The Republicans put all of their policies in there, and the Democrats said, okay.
Yeah.
Because they wanted funding for Ukraine. The Republicans initially, they said, well, if you want to get funding for Ukraine and Israel, then we need to protect our border because you can't be doing nothing over there if you ain't going to do nothing over here for our borders. So they were like, okay, fine. What policies do you want to put in the bill? The Republicans came out with all of the policies. The Democrats got none of theirs. They didn't get the DACA pathway to citizenship for the Dreamers. They basically didn't get anything. But they took all of the Republicans' tenets, in catch and release, increased border security, money for more agents, money for more judges, this and that. That wasn't good enough. They didn't take their own bill for an answer. They said, no, we have that article up, man. We have that article up. And so now Trump decides that it looks like they're getting ready to take this off the table. So after the Republicans in the House and Senate came up with the policies for the bill, Trump slid in at the last second and put a kibosh on the whole thing and said, nope, you're not going to do it because I got to run on this stuff. And we got to have something to bash Biden over the head. Everybody already know he's old and he's still going to beat me. So we got to do something. Now, just so you won't think that this is something that they're doing for the first time. Y'all remember this guy right here? His name is John Boner.
Boner the Boner?
Yeah.
Damn.
John Boner. Now he's a marijuana salesman. But
he used to be a crybaby. Now he don't cry no more since he's been smoking the good stuff.
Yes, back 10 years ago, back a little over 10 years ago in 2013, the exact same thing happened. The Senate passed an immigration bill that was comprehensive reform, bipartisan. They sent it over to John Boehner. John Boehner sat it on the shelf and he wouldn't put it on the floor. If he would have put it on the floor of the House, it would have passed. Guess what?
Right.
Just like back then, oh, how times haven't changed. We have this new bill pop up, and the Republicans shot that down courtesy of Benedict Donald. They said, nope, we're not going to pass this one either. But I guarantee you, well, I can prove to you that they're going to complain about it. Just so happens today, they've impeached the Homeland Security Secretary. And why? Because he won't do nothing about the border.
Right. Yeah. How you go from there to there? How do you go from there to there?
In a day. I mean,
the House just impeached Alejandro Mayorkas.
This is gaslighting. This is stupidity unleashed.
He was the Homeland Security Secretary. He was head of all of Homeland Security. And they impeached him because he wouldn't do enough
about the border.
Right. Well, at the same time, they canceled the only border bill, the most conservative border bill ever to come across, that would have ever come across a president's desk in the history of America since Reagan or before that. I don't know how soon. I guess since the Trail of Tears, Trail of Tears, maybe.
The Civil War. The Civil War.
Right. When they were running them up out of here, now all of a sudden we're trying to stop them from coming in once again. Since the Trail of Tears, and what do you know? The Republicans gun it down because Trump needs that as a talking point.
Their own bill.
To run on. That is their only talking point left. The economy's doing fantastic. What was the other one? Oh, abortion? Well, now there's no more abortion.
Yeah,
so people are happy with the decisions and the extra 80 or so thousand women that have been forced to have the child after being raped all across our nation. They're all ecstatic about the new laws, and they're all, they have no reason to even go out and vote now because all of their problems have been solved. So, that is not going to be a good right-wing talking point at this point because simply the dog has caught the car. So the dog caught the car with the economy. The dog caught the car with abortion rights and women's rights. And now, all of a sudden, we got the border. That's their last wing.
Yeah,
so they couldn't let Joe Biden solve it because and it wouldn't even been Joe Biden. Joe Biden would have just accepted it. But it just would have happened. And the Republicans were the ones who proposed it. It was their own proposals. We would have given them credit for that. We give them credit every time it's a bipartisan proposal. We do that.
They always say the bipartisan infrastructure bill, for instance.
Yeah. So now they have impeached Alejandro Mayorkas. Kev, do you know what the major ramifications of impeaching Mayorkas? Have you heard anything good, bad, to the ugly about that?
Well, it's right now. It's just on its face, silly, ridiculous, hypocritical, disingenuous, and it's disrespectful to the American people to do this. It's just a political stunt. They already fell flat on their face trying to impeach Joe Biden with their John Paul McIsaac fantasy theory that never worked.
Right.
And the chase for Hunter Biden, they tried to impeach Joe Biden because of that. It fell flat on his face over and over. So they had to impeach somebody. Aha, I know. Let's go after the Homeland Security guy so that we can really make it look like the Democrats are not working with us on the border, even though they'll pass this bill that'll put all of our policies through. Now, I want y'all to think about this. The Republicans, the Republicans that are honest about this bill, they admit that this is the most conservative immigration bill that has ever been up in the Senate. But think about this. There's not going to be an opportunity to have a bill this lopsided, heavy weighted towards Republican policies again, because in any other Senate, that bill will not pass. So let's say, for instance, if they take over the House next year and the House passes these exact same policies, when that bill comes back to the Senate, unless there are 60 Republicans in the Senate, they're not going to pass it. Right now, the Democrats are willing to compromise with them. That is the art of governing. You're not going to ever get everything you want from any political party or any politician. But compromise means for the sake of over 350 million Americans, we're going to come together and accept some things that we don't like in order to move the ball forward. This is the Democrats' effort to move the ball forward. They accepted the policies that the Republicans put in place, gave them a shot, and they will not get this shot again because this bill will not get through the Senate the way that it did this time. Right. So they're just shooting themselves in the foot, and they're exposing themselves as basically political charlatans. When they finally do come up with a plan and some actual policies, they vote their own policies down. You can't rely on people like that to govern people. You can't rely on people like that to govern. Sorry. It's not going to turn out well.
Absolutely. All right. So let's see here. So we got this. Oh man, this guy right here is off the chain. It's y'all Speaker of the House. He's new, but he's old, but he's new, but he's old.
You talking about Maggot Mike?
Bingo. There he is. So after all of the shenanigans and all of that stuff about Maggot Mike talking about, man, what did he say? Speaker Johnson denies he opposes border deal to help Trump's campaign.
Yeah. So he said that the Republicans' policies that are in this bill, they're not good enough for him.
Yeah.
Even though he sat on the TV with Laura Ingraham from Fox News and admitted that the president called him and gave him marching orders as to where he was gonna take this bill and shove it.
Yeah.
He's lying
to you. He said, "Are you taking orders from Donald Trump?" And he said, The camera zoomed in on him real close, and he said, "No."
I make the rules around here.
I was like, "Come on, man."
He said, I make the rules around here.
I make the rules around here, boss.
Cause I love you.
Ah!
Cause I love you.
I love you like mush mouth. Hey, check this out, man. So, needless to say, we got your boy. Man, I don't even know how to transition to this, man. I know you had a plan.
Who?
Let's see here. All right, so I think we're gonna talk about this first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this is another thing. All right. So let me see if I can explain this rather quickly. You're not supposed to take documents that are government property out of the White House as if you're the president. If you get caught with them, or if you recognize that you have them, the best thing to do is turn them over to the federal government ASAP. 9 times out of 10, if that happens, they're going to look at you and say, you had no intent to do this. You turned them all over. And so we're going to investigate you. Sorry, you're going to get investigated, and we'll figure out if we're going to charge you or not. Everybody knows that Benedict Donald, part of his 91 counts is he held on to documents for over a year, and he lied over and over and over, had moved them around, had the documents in the crapper and on the stage at Magaloco, and ended up getting raided after he lied to the feds over and over and over about said documents.
Yeah, and got caught on tape up in Bedminster.
That's right.
Disclosing Iranian records to the freaking book writing staff or whatever. Some chick that was hanging around for Mark Meadows.
Look at this document. Look at this.
You see this? It was Iran. It was Iran. It was war plans for Iran. But Mark Meadows, no, he said, General Milley, that guy. Yeah. Oh my God. Come on, man.
So Biden, when he found out that he had documents, he immediately turned the documents in. He called them and invited the FBI to come and do a search at any of his properties, which they did. And then they appointed a special counsel, a Republican from the Trump administration, to investigate him. So notice whenever there's a Republican doing an investigation on a Democrat, that's considered legitimate. But only a Republican can investigate a Republican.
Right.
In order for that to be legitimate.
Yeah, and not to mention, even when it's a Republican, depending on what their outcome is, like in this case, it's still he didn't go far enough. He didn't go deep enough. Like they should have indicted him instead of just finding him nothing.
Even though intent is a major part of document law breaking. There has to be some degree of intent in what you did. So in other words, they're not going to charge you with a felony for holding on to documents if you didn't intend to hold on to them. Yeah. So part of the intent,
not hold on to them, but also not use them nefariously at the same time.
Exactly.
And the caliber of stuff that Joe Biden had at the time, it turned out to be like his own personal notes that he was taking. It wasn't like he had war plans for Iran or something.
Nuclear secrets.
Yeah, he didn't have all of that.
Trump did.
All of our overseas spies and stuff. He didn't. Joe Biden didn't have that stuff.
Trump had
his own notes.
Methods, everything.
Yeah, and Joe Biden actually disclosed them to the writer that he was having help write his book, and the FBI even interviewed that guy, and they still found nothing nefarious in the whole transaction because nothing that classified was disclosed. It was government records nonetheless, so he had to turn them back over. But I'm sure whatever was in his notes was not something so damning that it would have what do they call it?
Harm national security.
Yeah, harm national security or whatever.
Yeah.
So no big deal, except for her. This dude goes way far above and beyond to try to demean Joe Biden in the process. Luckily, it's early. Y'all be done forgot about this come November, but still.
They fighting to make sure you don't.
Right. Yeah, there's no doubt. At least he put it in the report that Joe Biden is such a nice old guy with memory problems that he would look so sympathetic to the jury that just didn't feel comfortable taking it to trial or didn't feel like he could charge him for anything because of how he knew Joe Biden was gonna make him look bad in court. Yeah. So he made it seem like Joe Biden would make him look bad by being so old and forgetful and nice guy.
So just so you know, when you come out with the charging document saying you're going to charge somebody or not, the Justice Department has rules. They can't come out with a whole bunch of opinions, slamming you under the bus, talking about your negative characteristics and classifying you as this or that. Their job is to say we're charging or not. They may be able to go into some degree of the evidence to justify why they're not charging. Like in Joe Biden's case, there was absolutely no intent to do anything nefarious with these documents. There was no obstruction. Obstruction delineates intent as well. You can deduce by someone being obstructive to your ability to investigate them. You can kind of conclude that there was some intent in the first place that they wanted to get these documents and conceal them or what have you. But none of that was present with Joe Biden. So instead of just coming out and saying, Joe Biden, you are not going to get charged, which is all they should have done. What they did was they decided to go in and slam Joe Biden for this same story that they've been peddling about Joe Biden this whole time, which everybody knows how old the man is. But he an old dude. They even stooped so low that this guy said he forgot. He's so old, he forgot when his own son died.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just low.
Yeah.
This guy's son died from cancer. He was a soldier. He was Joe Biden's heart and soul. And this guy is going to put in a report on whether he's going to charge him for having documents or for having intent to retain documents. He's going to put in that decision that he don't even know the date his son died. Now, what in the world do you call that? Besides just a political hit job in an election year.
Yeah. This was the actual quote from his findings, which was like, what was it? How many pages was it?
It was like 500 something pages.
Wow. Yeah. So he said the direct quote was the investigators they found him as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory.
Now, who made this guy the memory expert, Ken?
Right, nobody. Yeah, his name is Her. H-U-R.
Is that girl that played the guitar with Usher?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that be doing the Running Man with the guitar, yeah.
Yeah, with the skates on?
Yeah. So, because they said, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, boom, all of a sudden the whole media goes ballistic and wild. They go wild because they're like, hey, he's old, he don't got no memory no more, he's dementia.
They can't do their little Trump comparison with Biden and cry foul because obviously Biden didn't do what Trump did. Biden did not hold on to the documents and lie in writing, get his lawyers to lie in writing, get on tape with his guys telling them to burn the server down. I mean, Joe Biden didn't do any of that. So what did they do? This Republican guy, and Ken, I think he did it because he's really scared of them maggots. Think about it.
That's what they do.
Think about it. Tell me I'm wrong.
You ain't wrong, man.
Yeah, so he gonna come out there with all this. Oh, he a doddering idiot. He don't know how to remember nothing. His brain don't even work. He'll make the jury sympathetic if I put him in front of a jury, you know. And by the way, he don't even know his own son. He think his son's still alive. I mean, this guy crazy, man.
Meanwhile, Nikki Haley,
she didn't give me any security.
Yeah, she didn't give me the security at the White. Nikki Haley.
While it's
gave her 10,000 troops.
Where Nancy Pelosi was literally begging the National Guard to come down there. There's video her daughter took of her on the phone during that documentary on January 6th. But another lie from the Trump administration trying to just gaslight y'all into the oblivion.
Right. So, do we have time for this last video, Kev? It's not that long.
Sure.
All right. Well, let me flip on over here and we're going to get this thing jumping. All right. So this is the newest of the new. Everybody's been talking about it. It's your boy doing his thizzle where he is happy to have President Putin do anything to any of our allies.
Just play it. Just play it.
Yeah.
Just play it.
Now, let's go to the US now. And the White House has described comments by Donald Trump about NATO as appalling and unhinged. He said he would encourage Russia to attack NATO members who don't meet their financial obligations to the Western military alliance. NATO members have agreed to spend 2% of their GDP on defense. Mr. Trump made the comments during an election campaign rally in South Carolina on Saturday. Take a listen.
NATO was busted until I came along. I said, everybody's going to pay. They said, well, if we don't pay, are you still going to protect us? I said, absolutely not. They couldn't believe the answer. They asked me that question. One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
How you like them apples?
Oh, man. They ain't sweet.
They bitter.
Yeah, they like them young apples. Tangy.
All right. I don't know if y'all understand the significance of this, but NATO is the most significant military alliance in the history of the world. It's a group of countries that the United States decided to partner with. I believe it was after World War II. But this alliance is what has kept tyrants like Putin at bay for so long. And of course, Donald Trump has been kowtowing to him since 2015 and before then.
Yeah. And
he's been dogging NATO out the entire time. If he would have got reelected, we would be out of NATO by now. But I never thought I'd see the day where a former American president would say, I would let Putin run roughshod throughout Europe if you guys don't pay. And let's face it, pay, that means Donald Trump doesn't understand the concept. You're supposed to spend 2% of your annual GDP on your own military. So it's not like we have a NATO bank account that you have to send money to. That's not how it works. But Trump don't even know that.
Yeah.
He's using the Putin talking point to gaslight again the American people into believing that it's an acceptable outcome for us to throw NATO under the bus and allow Putin to run roughshod in Europe militarily and continue his rampage where he's raping women and he's kidnapping children. Hundreds of thousands of kids have been kidnapped out of Ukraine. And Benedict Donald just this weekend sits there and says that now, listen, you got two old men. One of them is just old, but he's a statesman. The other one wants to turn Europe over to Putin. You pick now. You pick.
Yeah. No doubt. Needless to say,
I feel like we just beating dead horses all over the place, man. What's that crime where you killed somebody that's dead?
that's it. Beating a dead horse, son.
That's what we doing. We horse beaters.
All right. Hey, it's been real. It's been fun. Tonight we're gonna ride out with the old K-Cube anthem. And you know how I do. So
Keep your head up, y'all. Pick
keep
right
your
from
head
wrong.
up. Much love. Get out, vote,
Pick right
register,
from
do
wrong.
everything you gotta do, man. We need your help. The world needs our help.
What are you gonna do, as the late Joe Madison used to say?
Yeah, you gonna protect democracy, or you gonna bow down to the maggot sycophants and let fascism run your life?
I will if I love you.
You don't love that man. You don't love that man. And that man ain't gonna never love you back. KQ!
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
And all I wanna do is just listen to you. KQ Politics 72. Can you dig it? 1, 2, KQ. I do what they do. Can you dig it? And all I wanna do, 1, 2, you just listen to you. KQ Politics 72. Can you dig it? KQ. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Can you dig it?
1, 2, KQ. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Can you dig it? Yeah, can you dig it?